Oh,
Right, it's going.
just a couple things to go over first.
Mm-hmm.
The name we decided on. Did we decide King of Atrophy or did we decide Withered King? It was like I left it up to you.
Uh, in your personal opinion, which do you like better? Do you like King of Atrophy or like Withered King or another name like that?
I thought the King of Atrophy was a cool name, but I recall you saying, didn't you like Withered King more?
Well, that's like more
I
going along with like the thing I based it off of. So I wanted to get like further away from that, so it could be like its own thing. So Atrophy would actually be super cool. So that's why let me actually like on the DM information I labeled the header as the King of Atrophy because I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with the King of Atrophy. Let's go with that.
had do just.
I also did change one thing that I haven't like
Uh-huh.
changed in the DM information page, and that is
Oh.
the name engraved on Hugh's sword. I will also leave that up to you.
Oh.
Ruination is kind of cool because like I put the definition of ruination, which is like the act or fact of ruining something or something being ruined, like or like destroyed, which is like a cool name for a sword. Like I attack with ruination.
Uh-huh.
But whatever you think is like more fitting or something that you think's cool, like you have full reign on that too. I try to leave like a lot open to like what you guys want.
Yeah. I'm like I don't know. I just think it'd be like I wanted to make sure it was something that you liked, you know,
I'm cool with
because
whatever, man.
when when you get handed a sword that says bankruptcy on it.
You're now bankrupt. Of what? Your
Cause,
life.
no, because the thing is, when I
You've
was
lost
looking
living
at,
privileges.
because when you were looking at words that like involved like ruining, I saw, you know, when I was looking for synonyms for ruining to see what were some cool words, the first one's fucking bankruptcy, and so I'm like, that's that. I just thought I wanted to bring it up just because, like I don't know, like like there's a lot of cool words, and like sure, yeah. I think I, th- I think we'll be okay. We can work anything out. So getting the gist of it, just out of character here for a second about humorous's purpose.
Yeah.
So humorous, just so I have all this correct, is brought back by the King of Atrophy, who himself was this sort of person who he was somewhat noble in his life, and so in death he was given power, and with that power he was able to resurrect the undead, and with that he resurrects Humorous, feeling his plight for that of his wife and for that of his need to live on, right? Like I have.
Yeah, it's like that. It's just some commoner in like a really old civilization who just like his whole goal in life was to just make sure that his wife was happy, and he was like
Yep,
a
that's.
soldier, and so when the town was attacked and he heard that his wife had been killed, he was like absolutely like destroyed, so he like ran in and just, you know, killed as many people as he could like in a rage, and he got killed. And in like
Mhm.
the afterlife in the abyss, he was just kind of like corporeal like wisp of like death, like everyone else there, but like he was still had that anger and like regret of his wife, so it got to the point where he like with his own power like manifested as like this higher being, and so he brought back like an army of his, and like he was like with his new power he knows that there's gonna be like a war in the afterlife, and so he's like wanting like generals, and so he told his wife to go and like find someone who would fit that description, who like knows the pain that he felt, someone that he could trust, and so the wife like found Hugh when he died, and so that's kind of where like that comes from. The why he was brought back is because, you know, he wants to test him, because before Hugh died, you know, he was like stealing from people, which is obviously bad. So like he knows Hugh is good on the inside, he just wants to test to make sure. So that's
much like a sword. Much like a sword, a person must be forged in the fires of hardship.
Yes. And like I wanted to leave open like what he does to have to prove himself to whoever's DMing at the time. Like you could do like some of the most absurd things with that, like literally anything you could think of that Hugh would have to do to prove himself. That would be something that he would have to do.
Hugh must jump into the belly of a Tarask.
All right, I'll do it. But that's kind of where I was going with that.
Awesome. Okay, so let's start this out. Oh, hey, Killian. We're in a like D&D like mini session here. So if you want to mute me and Michael, it should be about 30 minutes. Awesome. Okay, ready to go, Michael?
Yep.
So about a day has passed since you and the rest of the party got to Yarns, and with that, sort of, you spent some time looking around your room. Primarily, I think what you would have noticed is your armor stand and the armor placed upon it.
Is it actual armor, or is it just like the depiction of armor?
What the armor stand has on it is, as you've seen from your side of the room and Moe's, is it's almost like each of these yards is like a microcosm of what in your mind becomes like a safe place and a good place. And with that, this armor is almost like you yourself aren't sure what you want to fit into. The armor is this sort of black sort of mass that's hard to comprehend in the shape of armor on the stand, as if your mind is not made up on it, and when your mind is content, the armor will form itself, creating for you the set in which you will fight in, and which you will protect, in which you will, you know, you're putting yourself into the armor.
Okay. That's cool.
So the stand sort of, you can tell it's armor. It's sort of forming between different pieces of things which you might have worn or which you would like to wear, but it's almost like your mind itself is sort of conflicted on the role which you yourself want to play, which is why it hasn't formed completely yet. And so you've spent maybe, like, I think you would have spent some time maybe pondering this specifically and looking at this. And I think he's come to realize that that's what this is, that it's a reflection of how he sees himself, is how the armor is sort of manipulating.
Yeah.
And so about midday through the day, like after everyone got to Yarns, you are called on by a servant of Gemini, or Genghis Mangus, who is it's a young woman of about 20, and she's very pale, like this sort of almost albino woman with just very little pigment, the robes being the only things of much color on her. And she enters your tent and asks you in this kind of soft voice, if you'd please follow me, Gemini would like to see you.
All right, if you'll just show me the way.
Yes. And so she leads you out of your tent and back through Yarns. People seeing you as they go by, sort of nodding their head or bowing in a way. And she leads you back to the same tent in the center of the village, which you've been in once before, the night previously. And so she motions for you to enter. I will be tending to other duties. He is expecting, she says, sort of starting to walk away and motioning for you to enter the yurt.
Hugh will like tip his hat towards her and like peek his head inside before walking in.
Inside, Gemini is at his workstation. On the ground next to him is what appears to be a metal bucket with a bright, glowing liquid radiating from it, like almost like lava. And he's just tinkering with something on his table, sort of, with his hammer and like tongs. There's smoke, a little bit of smoke in the room, and but without even breaking focus, he goes, "Oh, hello, Hugh. If you'd like to step right in, that's nice to see you. Or would you prefer I call you Boone Shackle?"
Who exactly are you? And when we got here, you said that you knew my name, and he was gonna like look around the like place to see if there's anyone else there that is hearing, or is it just the two of them?
Seeing you looking around, he turns to you and goes, "Do not worry. No one will be able to hear us in here unless I wish for them to. You are safe here to speak as you will, and I would hope that you would allow me to do the same."
Well, yeah, you said you knew my purpose, and for the past century, I've been looking to figure out what that is, so any
Hmm.
leads that I can get on that would be helpful.
I understand. Well, if you'd like to sit down, I've been thinking a lot about this, and I I think you're ready to start to hear about this. So, any motions to two chairs? They're quite small. They don't. They seem to be very humble, sort of wooden chairs. They're not entirely comfortable, and they're easy to transport. They're not like what someone of
Yeah.
his status in a village like this would be used to. Oh, if you'd like to sit down, and he proceeds to sit down one of the chairs. They're placed in the middle of the hut, sort of facing one another, maybe 2 feet apart, 3 feet.
Hugh is gonna walk over and sit down in one of the chairs.
So, looking across from you, looking, like not really breaking eye contact from you, he says, "Well, you see, Boone, you're okay with Boone, correct?"
Well, yeah, if it's just just the two of us, cause I'm sure since you know my name, that not really a wanted person around. Kind of got in trouble with the law, I guess you could say. So I'm trying to keep the name on the down low, so no one comes after me.
Boone, I can assure you that you are wanted, in fact. That's the first thing I must say. You see, you you are, and he ponders it for a second, putting both his hands out in this sort of like almost rubbing them together, sort of kind of apart, trying to find the words. You are looking at yourself as if these two people, this wanted man that you were, and the man you are now, you're the adventurer, as if they are not almost evolutions of one another. You see, you do what though you may have been wanted by the law. What was done not out of malice or out of spite, as you very well know. It was out of need and out of love, and that isn't something that, especially in the afterlife, can follow you with any sort of any sort of wrath. You are absolved. At least, I hope you would absolve yourself, as the world has certainly absolved you of any wrongdoing.
Well, I would
So,
sure hope so, considering it's been about a century. And
Yeah, that is true.
I've spent about 70 years being undead, sitting on the mountaintop looking down over old Great Valley and watching everyone that I grew up with, pass on. So I guess there's no one left to call me wanted, but you can never be too sure.
Mm. It is you yourself who call you wanted, you see. You are the last person to still almost pursue yourself. And it is you who needs to accept that who you are now is noble and true and just not exactly the person you were then.
But I stole from
Though
people. I ended people's lives. I I watched everyone I cared about go right before my eyes, and there wasn't a thing I could do about it. And you mean to tell me that all that's just gone away?
it isn't gone away, Boone, so much as it's changed. The context of your actions have manipulated in the fabric of the universe in such a way as you are what you are is noble. What you did is what was needed. And he continues to sort of look at you, just sort of slowly inching out the words, trying to not, let on too much at once. And the reason if you would not have been brought back if it wasn't for some purpose, which you know, though you may not know why.
All I can remember is as I was dying, I heard some woman tell me that I had work to do, and since then I've been looking for what that could be, and recently I've found someone unreliable, but they did say that they knew where I could find work in that sense. So,
Mm,
don't let the others know, but I may be taking a leave for a little bit while, you know, I go search things out. There's a bunch of shrines down in New Easter
mm,
that I'm supposed to check out.
mm,
Don't know if they're reliable or not, but, it wouldn't hurt to go and check, just to be sure. But
mm,
I'm gonna miss
mm,
leaving them. But right now, the only thing I can really think of is getting Darthag out of the way, because you know about the visions, I assume.
mm. Uh, very much. Yes, the boon. You see, sometimes the things we do, while they do not feel right, they are good in some greater way. Maybe for you, or maybe for the universe. And so, what I what I need to tell you is, you were brought back for something very special. You see, there is a a a being, a being in in some place beyond us. He he was once someone much like you, Boone. He was a man that cared about his family. He cared about very normal, routine sort of things. And it was tragedy that befell him, much almost like the tragedy which has befallen you. And you see, this man, he he saw something greater, something almost almost something almost pure. This was the reason you were brought back.
How did he know that? I mean, there's nothing pure about Boone Shackle or heck even humorous, and humorous is gonna do the like finger quotes. I mean,
Uh-huh.
cause I've killed and I've stealed and I mean I've even lied to the people I've been traveling with, saying my name is what it's not. I mean I'm starting to, you know, open up a little bit about that with one of the people, but I don't know. I just don't see how someone could, you know, see something like that in me, let
Mm.
alone, you know, his own plight. If
Hmm.
that's what you said, I mean, I don't know what he wants with me or what that woman wants with me, but I guess
Mm.
I should be thankful to bring me back because at least then I got to watch someone really close to me, you know, with the rest of their life. So I guess I gotta count that as a blessing.
Mm.
Um, so,
Boo.
is what is it that this being wants from me?
Well, first I must tell you the tale of the King of Atrophy.
What
This
what is that?
that is the being which chose to bring you back. He, like I said, was once a man, much like yourself, very plain, very ordinary. And as it happened, tragedy struck him at a hard point in his life where his wife died and he wasn't there in the moment. And he flew into a rage. There was the people that did it. They they uh they were quite malicious, quite vile, much like those which I'm sure you've faced in this world, living and dead. And you see, he, when he flew into this rage, he thought nothing except the vengeance of the memory of the one he loved. And it's very similar to you. He ended up dying, though he took as many of those that had desecrated his life as he could with him. And in the afterlife, his spirit was strong enough that it was able to manifest this sort of kingly nature, this pure nature. And he reunited with his wife in a way. And he is the one in time who saw you at death's door. And he was the one who decided that you would be perfect in time.
For what exactly? I
The
mean,
angelic.
both of us lost someone in a way. I mean, the person I cared about, I guess I lost him emotionally, but I don't see how both of us losing someone makes a big purpose. I mean, to be honest with you, Gemini, right? I can. Is it all right if I call you that? Or
That's fine. Whatever you would like to.
I've been I've been hearing voices. I guess I'm just trying to get to the main point here. Is
Hmm.
he was gonna reach into like his back pocket and pull out a broken samurai sword. Like the handle is still there, and a little bit of the blade is there, but about halfway up, it's been broken in half, and the top piece is missing.
Hmm.
Um,
I guess when I died, people that did it, of course I stole from people, so they didn't think too kindly of it. It was very dishonorable, and of course I know that, and I've been trying to change. But they broke my sword that I've been training with. But it's been talking to me almost. I
Hmm.
haven't told anyone else about it. It's been saying to get it repaired. So you would know how to do that, right? Does
He
this have
looks
to
at
do
it.
with it?
He looks at it with a smile and goes, "In a way, I think it's. You see, the sword is trying to help you along in your journey, I'd say, is maybe the easiest way to frame it. You see, you are going to be needed when everything is said and done. I cannot tell.
You mean like when I die again?
You could say that, yes. Well, you see, there, the King of Atrophy, he, when his fire was tempered against those foes which vanquished the coals of his life, and he created this new fire within himself and forged a new him, a nobler, more pure him. And so, finding himself in that sort of abyssal afterlife, he realized that some of those within were just as nasty as those who had harmed his family and those who had harmed many others. It, there is a need for soldiers of his in the world beyond, and he is going to need you. That is your purpose in the next life. In this one, in this one, you must prepare. That is all. Though the preparation itself comes in many ways. In many ways, you must be tempered and honed, much like a blade, like this one right here. And he points to your sword.
Hugh is just like he's looking all like confused, like all over the place, just trying to get together. You know, his purpose is he knows what it is now. Like this is huge, so he's like a mess right now.
Hmm.
Just so what you're trying to say is that I'm kind of enlisted is a good way to say it. Um,
It's a bit.
so I'm
Yes, that would work.
I'm supposed to um, fight for this other person in the afterlife, but I don't really see what I get out of it, other than fighting, which is, now I'll admit it, it's wrong that I like it, but I think it's pretty interesting as a test of skill. But I mean, it's not really something that I would look for peace. Um, so is there anything I get out of this, or am I just forced, you know, into being a soldier?
Well, you see, you are not just a mere soldier, Boone. He would like you not as some grunt, but as a general. He saw something in you which he saw in himself, and he wants to hone that and to make someone who with the capacity for good as he has found in himself. For there is a need for good, not for soldiers, but for good itself, distilled. And that is what you will become, because it's in there. It's in you. And so all of this, and he points, he like motions around. is but the forge from which you will come out tampered and folded and reforged and honed, and you will come out in such a way as yourself will shine like a newly forged blade in a golden dawn, almost glowing with this sort of perfection. So when you tell me that you did not ask to be a soldier is not what is being asked. What is being asked of you is to become, well, who you are already, and to help others when the time comes, much like you do already.
Yeah, I like helping people. It's good. We should always, look out for each other, even if you don't like them. But I don't. This is just a lot to take in.
Hmm.
Um,
I expect.
you said that he was able to bring back his loved ones, right?
Ah, yes, in a manner of speaking.
That can he maybe bring back Jenna? And like Hugh is like absolutely like devastated like right now just thinking of it. He's just like hunched over like though he can't cry, his like bones are like like softly rattling. Like you can hear the shakiness in his voice.
Mm-hmm. Uh, Gemini waits for a moment just for Hugh to just to give Hugh a minute to take it all in, and he looks at you and he gives you a smile and goes, "There is much and more to the King of Atrophy and those who are aligned with him, and I'm I wish that I could give you some concrete answer on such important questions, but I'm deeply sorry to say I'm not the one who can answer them. I think you are." And he puts his like right hand on your right shoulder or left shoulder, and just sort of keeps it there and just looks at you and just like uh gives you a moment.
So about the about my sword, do you think you could, maybe fix it, I guess is a good way to say it. Because I'm sure I'll need it for whatever he has for me. This is a lot to take in. Ooh. Um, I
What
mean,
what I
I guess I'm okay with being a soldier if it means, doing what's right. But you know what? Never mind. I'm okay with this. Um, yeah. My reason for training as a child in the first place was for her. So I don't see a reason why that should stop now or ever. So you know what? And he was gonna like how people when like they like absolve they kind of they like posture
Mhm,
themselves up and take a big like breath. He was kind of like doing that right now.
mhm.
It's like yeah, I'm gonna be a general. That's kind of cool.
That is kind of cool.
um yeah.
And as for your sword, I think I can do better than reforging. Reforging implies, in this sense that we're talking about, turning it back into the exact same state from which it was wrought. But don't you believe that there is a capacity in the sword for more good than it had to begin with? Much like is a bigger capacity for good in you than you had to begin with.
Yeah, I guess what you're saying. So you're
I
saying you can make a new one from scratch? I mean, I don't mean to say this in a weird way, but I've been all over this side of Play Glad, and there ain't quite many swords like my people's.
Hmm.
Especially the armor. That weird rack you got in my room is it's really weird, looking like some of normal armor and then some like my people's armor. And I'm just wondering is if you could maybe, if it's not too much to ask, make some just basically um armor and a weapon for my people. That's all I ask. To get me on my way. I'm prepared, and even for you just tell me this, I will I don't think I need these anymore with what I will be doing. And so Hugh is gonna, like, as he's saying this, he's gonna reach into like his pockets and he's gonna pull out 750 gold in, so it's 380 gold pieces and 37 platinum pieces, and he's gonna give that to Gemini.
Are you sure of all of it?
Yeah, yeah. Um, I thank you for everything that you've already done. I mean, you've already told me so much, and it just doesn't feel right to let you go empty-handed on it, especially since I don't really need money. I mean,
Hmm.
I've been keeping it around for someone to make my sword new again, so I mean, you know, don't really need it.
He looks at me. He takes the money and he looks at you and goes, "How about you leave the sword handle with me and go look at your armor one more time and just really think about it and think about who you believe that you are and come back to me afterwards."
Well, yeah, yeah, I'll do that. One more question, if you don't mind me
Yes.
asking.
Oh, ask away.
You'll keep this a secret from the others, right? I mean, if I told them about everything, they wouldn't believe me, and there's a lot going on, and um, just try and keep it on the down low. I mean, I know I'll be getting new armor and a weapon, but I can make up something for that. Just between you and me.
Hmm. All that we say here exists in here and within our minds afterwards. For nothing will go anywhere that it doesn't belong, so to say.
Should should I tell the others, my actual name, or should I keep that to myself? Because if I'm supposed to be like a better person, then I, shouldn't be keeping things from, the people I trust per se. I know I'm asking a lot of questions that you probably don't know the answers to, and I mean, I don't even know where to begin. Like, what do I do first? But what do you think? You're kind of my only voice of reason left.
He nods and looks at you and goes, uh, "As for your name and your friends, I think that, well, it it your name is a part of you which can mean a lot of things, and I think that looking within yourself, you know, the name that we give those that we care about is a reflection of what we see within our own pictures of what we think we will become and what we think we have become. So, as for whether you tell your friends what uh, what they should call you, it can only be found from within yourself and within what you wish to be called and within what you want to leave as your mark on the world and with what you wish to brand yourself and with what you wish to carry with honor. And so, Boone doesn't have to be a shameful name. Boone is a part of you, a part which you have grown out of and grown into and around. And so both names harbor meaning within them. And so it is your choice what meaning you wish to bring forward.
You know what? Now that you're mentioning it, you're right. Boone Shackle was something lesser, just just a start of something greater if I'm meant for that. So I think that name should stay in the grave where it belongs. I'm starting to get used to Hugh. So I guess what I'm trying to say is out with the old and end with the new and what I'll become. So you know, the sword and everything like that. That'll be the resting point of everything else. So I know all of the money I've given you is a lot to you, but I have more things that I think you should take. I won't be needing anything else in this world except for that armor to keep me safe until it's my time. The sword and the bow. Um, Jenna gave me that one. Um,
Mm.
so I would like to keep doing that, and you know, for her. So I'll be giving these to you, and he will be giving Gemini his battle axe, his two
Mm-hmm.
hand axes, and his
Mm-hmm.
rapier.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can sell these or do whatever with it, but yeah, they're yours now.
Mm. He looks at you, smiling, and he takes the weapons from you, and with gets up from his seat and brings them over to his blacksmith bench, putting everything down that you've given him, including the samurai sword handle and the gold and everything. And he turns back from the table and looks at you and goes, "Well, I believe that it's about time you go look at that armor." And he just for a second hesitates and goes, "I guess you could say out with the old and in with the Hugh." And he smiles.
Hugh is also gonna give a good chuckle. Like he's still, you know, upset and confused, but he's making good light of it. He's smiling at him. Um, I guess you'll just come and get me when the swords are ready and all that. But I thank you, Gemini. You're a good man. I don't know what you have for everyone else, but from deep down, I want to let you know that I appreciate everything that you've done for me, and if there's anything I can do to repay you, um, all I gotta do is ask. You name it, I'll get it done.
Hmm. Well, what you and your friends have done and will do for this world is more than anyone could ever ask of any group of people. That is all I will say.
Uh, all right, thank you. And Hugh is gonna leave the tent and go back to his hut.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what you call them, yurts. I gotta remember if
It
it was
called me Yurt.
a yurt. Okay, I didn't want to call it something wrong. Okay,
No,
so
it's fine. Yeah, a Yurt is just a kind of. It's a kind of. It's like a. They're like it's just like specific styling.
hmm
But yeah, coming back to your tent and entering, everyone else this day has sort of been brought like away for a while. It's like breakfast time, which is why you don't really encounter many other people.
hmm
And so coming back to your tent, it's very quiet, and entering and looking around, your armor appears to be still sort of shifting as you look at it. But thinking on what the Star Namer said, you look at it and concentrating, you think of what you want to represent with your armor and what you wish to carry on you with pride. And so, can you just describe for me and describe for yourself what exactly you wish your armor to be for you?
It would be. I know you. I'll send you the picture. I have it on Hugh's backstory. It's kind of like
Mhm.
traditional like samurai splint armor. I'm gonna
Mhm.
grab a picture for you real quick for it.
Yeah.
I'll
Mhm.
actually. Yeah, I need to change it to the normal color, but it's gonna be black, like
Mhm.
a real dark, with the highlights of it being like a silver type.
Mhm.
Um, for the helmet, it's gonna be like traditional like samurai generals, just helmet. Um,
Yeah, like the like full like neck covering of like scales with the
mhm.
with the big like markings in the front with the open. Is it an open faceplate?
Yes, and I'm sending it to you right now. Just give me a second. But yeah, it's like that, and that's pretty much all of it. Other than like the picture I'm sending you has um like knots, like a tie around the waist, just like symbolic. It's basically just yeah, just a Japanese like general armor.
Mm-hmm.
Right there it is.
Yeah. So picturing this look in your mind and sort of like almost talking out loud to yourself, the armor starts to twist, the black sort of amorphous shape solidifying one last time on these rows of plates of this deep black with silver inlay on and around the edges and sort of streaking through almost like veins or lightning bolts. And so with these great shoulder plates and the neck almost fitted together with this sort of silver band which connects from both shoulders down to the neck. And the headdress is layers of plates of this, yet again, this deep black with a sort of si- this duller sort of black cap to it with this extraordinarily shiny silver pieces jutting off from the center point of your forehead, right above where your face is located. In
Hmm.
these two sort of strong yet very fragile looking silver, not so much horns as pieces of crown almost, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And this armor sort of continues in that way of these bands of black with these streaks of silver throughout, all down from head uh, all the way down to foot in these sort of plates, with like the armor from the stomach coming off of the hip a little and intersecting with the leg armor down in that same sort of pattern, going from fingertip to fingertip, from toe to toe, from shoulder to shoulder, from head to knee. Just this great black and silver covering, almost shining in its purity, in its ability to be both solidly and infinitely dark, and yet somehow great and shiny and silver and bright.
Hmm.
And it transforms like this in front of Hugh as he's watching. And it finally sort of a smoke rising off of it almost. The armor stays and no longer transforms and no longer shifts.
Hugh would like to walk over and just place a hand on it to, see is it actually there, or is this like fake or anything?
Touching the armor, it has a sort of coldness to it, though the it has a familiarity as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the looking at it, the way the metal is bound to the straps, which are bound to the cloth, which contacts you,
Mm-hmm.
is done in a way making it all it seems to fit. Like, just looking at it, you can tell it fits you perfectly.
All right. Hugh would like to take off all of like his commoner clothes, fold them up nicely, and just lay them on the on his bed, and take off his hat and look at it for a while, and set it on top and start putting on the armor.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the armor comes on with very little hassle, as you very familiarly, knowing this style quite well, you manage to put it on with very little need to carefully examine.
Mm-hmm.
It's as if this armor was within you almost from the beginning. It feels as though you've been wearing this the entire time. And yet, you're uh, finally manifesting on yourself.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool.
And so,
It's a
mhm,
splint armor, correct?
yep, it's Splint Armor.
So do you know the AC of splint armor?
I do. Splint Armor is a AC of 17.
Okay.
It is heavy armor.
All right. There we go.
Uh, you get disadvantage with stealth, the only thing, and it has a weight of 60.
All right. Hugh doesn't really
Though,
mind stealth, so he's fine with that. Loud and
uh,
proud.
thi- this armor specifically, though, has a weight of 50 if you're writing it down.
Okay. Let me quickly do that real quick. Does the armor have a name?
The armor, just, almost resonating, like Hugh thinks this to himself almost as he's putting it on, and without even a second, it answers, and this is this is the veil of the true protectorate.
Protectorate with an
Yes,
ET. Okay.
protectorate.
All right. And cost probably priceless to Hugh.
Yes, if you'd like to give it an actual cost, one, I can figure one out right now.
I'm putting
Uh,
priceless down. Hugh is not going to be giving this up.
mhm. Nine. Okay. And as Hugh thinks about this armor, after finishing putting it on, there is a rustle of the tent of the yurt door before Gemini enters, and in his hands is this sort of this sheath. In this, it's a sort of dull silver sheath. It's quite long. It's a uniform tube,
Mm-hmm.
and on the end is a very familiar handle sticking out. And he enters, and then with both hands, hands it to you, bowing.
Hugh is gonna bow in response in like pick it up, like you know how you ceremoniously like pick up the sword that's been given to you, and
Uh-huh.
he was gonna slowly unsheath it to take a look at it.
So unsheathing it at the start, you have the same blade which you are familiar with, the same sort of metal. But
Hmm.
as you begin to, but as you get to the place where it was broken, it begins to shine as you notice that the sword, after the point with which it was forged, is gold.
Oh.
And pulling out the sword fully, uh, what you see is that the place from which it was broken has been restored fully to the way in which it looked, but with this bright gold metal, which has been sort of the edges where from the where it is sharp up to the tip
Hmm.
are all the gold is sort of the center. It has this bright silvery edged.
That's really cool. um, Thank you. This is really something, Gemini. Man, and he was gonna like practice like slice, like not at him, but like away from him, and like just direction, just feeling how it like handles.
Hmm. Feeling it, one hand you can very fluidly slice the air with it, and then putting a second hand on it, you realize that it fits quite comfortably, and you're able to get very stable slashes with it.
Hmm.
And so, with that, uh, Gemini looks at you and goes, "Well, I will leave you to your equipment, but I uh I have some of your friends to speak with.
Oh,
I
yeah, of course. Thank you. This is this is amazing.
well, I do take pride in my work, and I am glad that it is to your liking. I wouldn't have felt right if it wasn't, though. I I knew it. And he sort of like gives you a faint smile.
Hmm.
Boone, you are truly a good man. And with that, he leaves the yurt.
All right. Is he would like to inspect the blade more? Is there any like engravings or anything on the blade, or is it just like how you described it? It's like the blade is normal, where it's the hilt, and then as the
Yeah.
blade starts, it's silver up to the crack point, and then from that point onward, it's just straight like full gold.
So the sword, the part which you gave him, hasn't been touched. It appears, but after where it was broken, the reforged piece that was added together to make it whole again
Hmm.
is this pure gold, and the edge of the blade has been made this bright sort of silvery material.
All right.
So, like, I can give you a little MS Paint drawing. What color's the hilt? I don't think I ever asked.
It's black.
It is a black hilt. That's what I was like.
Also, did we go over Hugh's aura color change?
I don't think we did we?
Yeah, that was like something that would happen when he gets like the sword was the starting point.
Oh
Is that
no, I think we did.
did
But
we?
I think vaguely. But if you'd like to speak on it more,
Yeah, so my idea for like the King of Atrophy is that when he died in the abyss, everyone's like spirits are like one color, like this faint pale like greenish color. I have it on the like an example on the DM sheet that I sent you. Um
uh huh.
and with like the king being like this new like powerful being, like his aura would be a different color. And so recently at that time, my friends from high school told me about a League of Legends champion that just came out, who is Viego, who's like
Mhm.
that king, in an essence, but not the same. But
Yeah.
his aura is like the same pale green, so I wanted looking more into it, and like the four horsemen of the apocalypse,
Uh-huh.
like every known like depiction of like death is like this pale green, but his would be a different color. And I wanted to leave that up to you what color you want to make that. Um so like Hugh's golden like aura was just like, think of like it's a placeholder like a
Mhm.
white, and it would like slowly, like as he completes tasks, like shift towards like the final color, which is the same as the king's. So that's like totally up to you what
Mhm.
color you want to make that.
Um, I would say that it has started to shift from to more of a dull gold,
Mm-hmm.
almost almost becoming uh it's not so much gold anymore. It's like a very bright yellow.
All right.
I Is that okay?
Yeah, like the final color is going to be just a full on yellow,
The f-
or
uh
or is just like right now the shift is more
right
brighter yellow.
right now I would say right now it has gone from a gold to more of a yellow.
Okay.
And which my thinking behind that is just transitioning from gold to green. You have some in between, you know?
Oh, so the
That's
final
just why I'm
color
getting that.
will be green as well?
I think that would only be right, yeah. And so with that, his aura would sort of reflect his chain.
Okay. So we are going with the same like pale green of like all the
Yeah,
other people who are dead.
yeah.
Okay, so I'll need to
Hmm.
change that for like the backstory for the king, because his was like a different color from the pale green.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. If that's what you want to go with, let's go with it.
I think it would only be fitting.
Okay. Yeah.
And
And like the very final like part for Hugh would be, having a like another form, like like a normal person, but like a wraith. Like he looks like a normal person, but he's still, him,
mhm.
which I have in there as well.
Yeah, mhm. Sorry, I just finished your terrible MS Paint drawing. And here is your new sword, Extirpation.
So
Because like you were
it's called extirpation. All right.
engraved on near the tip, uh, close to the edge, kind of following the curve of the blade, is sort of inlaid the word extirpation.
That's really cool.
Extirpation is the medical term to complete excision or surgical destruction of a body part.
Okay, that's super cool. All right, let me write that down.
I have it. I pasted it for you. It's not a hard word to spell, but it's weird that it's spelt that way.
Mm-hmm. I'm also putting that as priceless. And the weight.
The weight of this sword is 3 pounds,
3. Okay.
and like as we sort of leave the like role play section,
Mm-hmm.
talking about stats. Did we were talking? It's versatile. Well, did we set its base one-handed to a D8 or a D10? I forget. A
Let
D8, correct?
let me
Uh,
scroll down and check. This is
I,
just a normal katana, correct?
I believe so.
Okay.
Which I
Yes.
wasn't sure if we were using these stats
Let me take a look.
because
Maybe
it
no.
there is a versatile like there's like a
Yes,
it's a
yes,
D slashing first
yeah,
part of
that's
the
the
D10.
one.
Okay, so there we have the sort of stats covered. And is there anything else we need to go over?
No, I think that's it. He's got a sword, his armor. He knows what his purpose is now to work towards that. He doesn't know where to start, which is good, so you can work with that.
Mm-hmm.
He, I now know like the final like color is gonna be the same pale green as other wraiths and the king, which is really cool. Is it gonna be like the exact same green, or is it gonna be like a darker, a lighter, or just the same
I
one?
would I would say it would be a lighter, shinier green,
All right,
but it's almost matching it in tone, almost.
all right. Yeah, that's pretty much all of it that I had.
Nice. Okay, looks like we're done.
Yep.
First one off is complete, or first mini session.
Mhm.
Woo.
Woo.